just remembering to breathe.
Yeah.
Knowing that breath brings us more of an ability to think, to make decisions. But also just when someone is uptight, to just go for a walk and breathe. That left brain, right brain integration as they're walking, as they're filling their belly with oxygen, and then bringing that oxygen up, and then exhaling. They can think of whatever's bothering them. I'm going to fill my body with health of oxygen, and then I'm going to let go of what seems to be encumbering. And to make time, moment to moment, to breathe and know that a negative something can come at them and they can choose to shift it and see it in a different way. For example, someone comes in work and they're negative and they say something unkind. I want to consider the source. That person I know has issues. It's not my stuff, it's their stuff. I'm not perfect, and I'm working day to day to be more empowered, to be healthier. I'm working to live a healthful life. So when someone comes in and says something negative, instead of reacting and holding my breath, I'm thinking, I consider the source, and I say, I see how you could think that way. I'm not saying, oh yes, I'm terrible. What I'm doing is I'm defueling what's coming at me. So I'm loving myself enough to remember to breathe. I'm also considering the source, or I'm hearing what a negative energy and knowing that it's for me to shift that.
What are some powerful words or sentences that you tell yourself or that you breathe in to shift that energy?
I breathe in, I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
I breathe in, I'm enough. I breathe in that I remember to breathe. I also breathe in that I am whole, that I'm consistent, that I love myself, that I honor others. I love what I do. So I continue to remind myself that life is good, that my work is blessed, that I'm so lucky to be able to be doing it.
Yeah. So would you say it's a daily practice?
Oh yes, yeah.
We all need to do that.
Well, moment to moment, we need to really stand in our integrity and love of ourselves and honoring of ourselves. Certainly, if we're not going to do it, who is? I'm pretty thankful for being here, especially at this time. You know, to be able to make shifts for myself, with others.
Yeah.
And I don't say for others, it's with others.
Yeah.
We come together.
Yeah.
We really do reconnect, and we work together, and shifts are made.
How long have you been doing this kind of work for?
27 years.
27 years.
Before that I was in fashion. Before that I was in art. And now I sculpt bodies all day long.
Interesting to hear more about the structural integration. I had never heard that term before. What is it, and how did that change your life?
It was actually body work that I had done. And in the process, I fell in love with the whole process. That someone would work with me with their hands to help me look at so many different levels in my being. Physically, how I could be in alignment. Emotionally, how I could open up to myself. How I could really reach into my own core. Spiritually, how I could find the God within. And mentally, there's just such a calm that's come into my life. And it started with structural integration. And then I literally changed my whole life in order to work with other people to go through that process with them. I added a different component of breath work. Since I found myself reacting in life, holding back, whether it was at the onset of an accident or whether it was withholding, holding back, not taking a breath because I didn't like what I was hearing someone say. And I realized that I wasn't connecting with my own brain, that breath is really that part of my life that makes things click. So I took the education of structural integration and I took a great deal of education about breath work and I combine them. So I work with people doing a physical modality with my hands, and it has to do with collagen. Dr. Rolfe was the person that first created this.
Okay.
In 1920, she got her PhD. She was a biochemist, and her whole thesis was on collagen. And she found that with heat and pressure at a particular angle, she was able to affect the connective tissue, and that was through the component of collagen. The heat and pressure caused a chemical reaction beneath her fingertips, and she was able to get the connective tissue, that which encircles every organ, every system of the body, every muscle, was getting that to react to her, and she was able to get that tissue to become more mobile.
So is that related to fascia therapy?
Yes.
Is it?
Because fascia is connective tissue.
Yeah.
And what we do together is look at the blocks that are in the body from accidents, from surgery, cutting through that vital tissue, but even impact or emotional, that we create blocks in our body. And as you work the layers through a series of sessions, the first 3 outer layer first, then the next 4 deepest layer, and then we end in the last 3 sessions working with someone for 1.5 hour sessions, integrating those segments so that it's really about alignment. It's about creating ease in the body, but also that one's head is over their shoulders, over their hips, over their ankles, and one lives in life with more dimension, with more alignment. And which brings up a point that is very important in my work, because I work with clients to get them to look at how they live their life, how consistent they are. Positions of sleep are majorly important. How one even gets into their car, how one reads a book, the position of your sleep. All of that, I work with people to get them to get more conscious about how they live their life. The same as congruence about what kind of shoes we wear. Sometimes I don't win a popularity contest because I challenge people when I see that they're wearing flip-flops. Of course they're going to toe out with flip-flops, and they're going to scrunch their toes in order to keep them on. So I'll say, what's going on with your shoes? I get them to walk around the room and to really experience the way they move, asking them to look at what part of their foot really is hitting the floor. I get them to experience their body, and then as we work the body, they start to feel these changes because each session is different. Each session builds on the other. I romance them into doing breath work the second time we're together, because the first is opening up their chest. It's coaxing the tissue between the ribs to open. It's looking at the whole thorax, this part of the body, and getting it to open. And then as they open that veneer, as they open the tissue between, we open the tissue front and back between the ribs, they find new space. Their lungs find new breadth. Then when we do a breathwork session, which I try to do the second time we're together, I get them to create first-person positive statements that are the flip side of those things that cause them to react in life. It could be something like a person who says they have to lose weight. We don't want to lose anything in our life, do we? Well, if I can get them to look at making healthier choices in their life, whether it's, do they choose to exercise? Do they choose to drink water? We need that alkaline in our body. We need water to create alkalinity. For 70% water, and people don't drink, they're withholding that from their tissue. So I get them to think of creating a statement that would get them away from, I can't eat and I have to lose weight, to, I'm going to drink water, I'm going to breathe, I'm going to create a statement that says, I make healthy choices in my life. And in the midst of our breath work, I get them to make 30 statements, and then when they breathe in the statements that I say that they've created one at a time. They're breathing in the statement, filling their belly with oxygen, bringing it up to their diaphragm, and then exhaling. And when they exhale, they're letting go of all that stuff that is in their body, the toxins in their body of ill thinking about weight, ill thinking about how they have to be, and starting to live life more healthfully, breathing in, but also letting go of all that drama. And we cover mind, body, spirit, mental, emotional, creating as many statements as we can that make them just feel good. I will ask them about what causes them to be angry in life, what ticks them off. And it could say, I don't like how my father talked to me when I was younger, or I don't like how I look, and we just flip them. And what I'm doing is getting them to learn how to flip or change their way of thinking about themselves, the way of talking. Instead of talking negatives in life, is to be breathing in, is to be shifting the energy of negatives to positive, but also to then use those statements that they've created, that experience with me with the breath, to move through many of their issues, and they go home learning how to flip.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Is there another message, something that you would like to share or convey that is important to you, that you see every day, that you would like people to get or learn or know?
Love yourself.
Thank you.